Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of the Iron Life podcast. I am your host, Chris Tutela, here to help you build an iron mind, an iron body, and live an iron life. It's been a couple weeks since my last show, and I missed you guys. But for those of you guys who have missed me, it was for good reason. I swear, my son, Kai Alexander, was born just 3.5 weeks ago. So it's exciting times right now. We got CJ, who is 17 months, getting fucking huge, and he is an absolute lunatic. Now we have Kai, who is 3.5 weeks old, and my house is an absolute shit show, for lack of a better term. So it's been absolutely crazy between going back and forth to the initial doctor's visits, sleepless nights, a lot of chaos, but in the best way possible. Could not be happier, could not be more excited. And that's what I've had going on, guys. So that's why you haven't heard from me in the last couple of weeks, but I am back, ready to go, ready to deliver for you guys. And, I wanted to start this show by sharing a quote that I came across on Instagram, of all places. And the quote goes like this: bad news, everything is temporary. Good news, everything is temporary. So if things are going well, enjoy it because it won't last forever. And if things are going badly, don't worry. It can't last forever either. And that really resonated with me because, first off, look, things in my life, they couldn't be better. I could not be happier right now because of our new addition and everything that we have going on. It's a beautiful time. We're excited, right? But there are ebbs and flows and highs and lows to this life, guys. And when I came across that quote, I was going through something just personally that I was just dealing with, and it made me think of fuck, that's 100% right. Sometimes we get so caught up in our own shit, especially when things are going badly, that we tend to focus only on that period that we're in. We feel stuck. We feel like, how am I going to get the hell out of here? That's where the anxiety creeps in. You start to get a little bit stressed. You start to get a little bit overwhelmed. Fear starts to knock on the door. And then you start living a life that is misaligned with who you are, maybe with your values, maybe because of that extra stress. Maybe you start scrolling a little bit more on Instagram. Maybe you start breaking your own rules. You don't put your phone on airplane mode at the time you said you would. You don't get to bed at the time you said you would. You start to wake up a little bit later. Now, all of a sudden, your values are kind of all over the place just because of this thing that's going on that you're so focused on. Man, that has happened to me multiple times in my life. And I thought about that, after I read that, I obviously thought about how that's impacted me and how I have thought that way for some time, or get caught up in those moments rather. But then the next day I was having a call with a coaching client, and he was explaining to me that, things were going really great. And now he's like, I hit this rut and I can't seem to get out of this rut. I'm stuck. I was really locked in with my diet, but now I'm getting a little lazy, or I'm just getting a little distracted, or maybe I'm just not as motivated as I was. And it made me think of that quote. And so I shared it with him. And I think it was like a light bulb went off for him as well. Like, yeah, there are seasons of life, and there's going to be times where you are riding the highest highs. And then there's also going to be times where you're riding the lowest lows and you feel like crap. So the important part of all this is that you create daily non-negotiables, habits, and core values for yourself. I'm not just talking about to you gym owners or business owners. I'm talking about everybody listening to this show right now. Having those core values for yourself, that is your North Star. And so when you hit a low in your life, you have those values to fall back on. You got to get really clear on who it is that you want to become and what it is, like, what do you admire about yourself, and what are some attributes maybe you admire about other people? Maybe there's role models or coaches or people that you look up to or have looked up to. What are some of their attributes that you actually admire about them? Like, why do you look up to those people? And so you might say, well, that person, they get to bed on time, they wake up early, they get shit done, they've created financial freedom in their life, they have achieved time freedom, they could do what they want when they want, they're making an impact, they're driven, they're disciplined, they train, they eat well, they don't fuck around. And you admire those things about that person. Well, you have to get locked in on what your non-negotiables will be every single day, so you have something to admire about yourself. You could look in the mirror and be proud of the guy that's looking back at you. Because all you have to do when times get tough, and they will get tough, is stick to those daily non-negotiables, those essential habits that are going to move your life forward. They're going to move your fitness forward, your business forward, your relationships forward. It might not be perfect. Progress is not linear. You're going to have ups and downs. But if you stick to those non-negotiables, even if it's just for a fraction of what you say, like, so for example, let's say you set 10,000 steps per day as a non-negotiable, but shit hits the fan one day and you only get 7,500 steps. Okay, you could sit here and say, well, then you negotiated, Chris. That's not a non-negotiable. Yeah, sure, maybe. But the point is, you have something that you're aiming towards, and at least you got 7,500 steps versus 2,000, right? But set that bar for yourself. Have something to aim towards. Have something to work towards. And so when you get those little pitfalls, just know, man, it is not going to fucking last. And stick to the things that you know need to get done. Stick to the things that you value. Move the fucking needle. And then once you get to that winning season, well, guess what? You've made progress even through the shitty season, which makes that winning season much more enjoyable. And also, maybe it gives you the opportunity to raise the bar a little bit more and continue to make progress and move forward with your life. So I just thought that was a cool quote, and just something that I wanted to share with you guys, because I really think that can help. Now, with that being said, speaking of ups and downs and highs and lows, now I am not a huge baseball guy. Okay, just to shift gears for a second here, I'm not a huge baseball guy, but I was rooting for the Yankees in the World Series, local team. Would love to see him win, and fuck, man, like that. And what was that? It was Game 5, right? The Yankees were up 5 runs. They were up 5-0, and ended up losing the game. What was it? 7-6. They ended up losing 7-6, right? It was close. Fuck. And so for all you Yankee fans, I'll tell you this: I feel for you, because not even being a big baseball guy, that was a game that fucking hit me, and I'm watching it and I'm like, damn, man, this was a tough pill to swallow, because you're coming back, you feel like you're gaining a little bit of momentum, you feel like you're gonna take, you're gonna force a game 6, and that's not how it went down. So here we are, and so for any of you you Yankee fans out there, maybe that will help you as well. Now, with that being said, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit more about business, okay? Because we got a lot of gym owners listening to this show right now, and a lot of you guys, maybe you are running ads. Like if you're a good gym owner, you probably are running Facebook and Instagram ads. And you might be noticing a little bit of a dip or decline in your lead flow, or at least the quality of the lead flow coming in. You know, you're not getting the serious buyers or people that are really interested. You're just kind of getting the tire kickers. Well, guys, what I want to share with you is that that's part of the losing season that we're in right now. It's part of the process. I can tell you firsthand, for somebody who's been in this game, you know, running a gym for 12, almost 12 and a half years now, that these things happen. And right now we have the election coming up. It's really a polarizing time. Algorithm changes, all that shit. Here, this takes me back to what I was just talking about. Focus on the things that you know need to be done in order to build and grow your business. You still need to generate leads using online, offline, and internal marketing strategies. You still have to nurture leads. You still have to sell. You still have to fulfill and deliver on your promise and your product. You still have to convert your members that come in through your front-end program into a reoccurring membership. You still need to upsell and cross-sell and do all those things to continue to grow and scale your business. So what I want you to do, if you're listening to this right now and you're running a gym and you're not seeing the same lead flow as you were maybe a few months ago, take a deep breath. Focus on the things that you can control. Obviously, you can't control how many people are so fucking engaged in this election and all the bullshit that comes along with an election every time there's an election. You can't get lost in fear and worry and doubt and complaining. You have to focus on the things that you know work and will grow your business, right? This is your opportunity to get creative. Get creative with your offer. What could you do to make your offer a little bit more irresistible? What can you do to generate more referrals? Maybe you have to follow up a little bit harder, maybe an extra phone call, maybe an extra day, maybe an extra text message. Maybe you have to just push that follow-up process a little bit further. Maybe it's time to look internally and think about a program that you could create for your members to purchase. Maybe it's a nutrition program. Maybe it is, an additional training day per week with some goal that's specific. For example, like booty camp, right? That's one that we run that's popular with the ladies. We had Armored, which was a program that we had for guys that want to build jacked arms, right? So something like that you could run internally to your members to generate more revenue when that external revenue, so to speak, is a little bit more dried up. So what I always like to do in times like this, guys, and this, by the way, I'm speaking to gym owners right now, but this could be really applied to anything in life. If you really listen closely enough, you'll realize that these things that I'm sharing with you can be applied anywhere, right? So, and that made me just lose my train of thought. So, what the fuck was I saying?
Thoughts that can be applied anywhere.
Yeah, before that, though. What was I saying? What was I saying? We might have to go back to the tape to see what I was saying. No. So, okay, I know what I was going to say. So this is your opportunity to get creative, right? Get creative, start thinking outside the box, but you don't have to change a million things. You have to, what works. Double down on that and maybe go the extra mile when times are tough, when you're in this losing season, right? Just like on the fitness side of things, my fitness client a couple weeks ago told me that he kind of hit this little rut. Well, we just had to get refocused and recalibrate on the basics, the basic non-negotiables. Like, what are those non-negotiables for your business? Okay, how can we make this more exciting for not only for your clients, but for you, right? If the goal is fitness, How can you make this a little bit more exciting? So for one of my clients, one of the goals that we set for him was to sign up for a triathlon, something that he always wanted to do, never thought he could do it. Okay, let's lock it down. Now we have something to train for. Now he's a little bit more excited. Now he's a little bit more fired up. He's a little bit more focused. Okay, cool. Now it gets a little bit easier to resist those temptations because he has something that he's training for. All right. With business, there's more on the line in that sense, like, because this is your livelihood, right? How can you get more creative with your offer? How could you get more creative with your team? How could you get more creative internally? How could you make your product better right now? Can you hold a meeting with your team and think about, all right, let's be brutally honest. I know we're doing this really well. How can we do it better? How can we move that needle forward just a little bit? And then you do that. That's going to bring excitement to you. So you get out of that scarcity, fear mind, and you start to think in terms of growth and expansion, and you start to get a little bit more clear. And then maybe that generates one more referral this month or two more. Maybe that's just that little bit of a spark that you needed, right, to get you through this season. What's the Razor Ramon quote? How's it go? So it's fuck. You guys know it.
Razor Ramon?
Yeah, Razor Ramon. It's how's it go? Let's see. I'm gonna actually Google this, guys, in real time here, as I'm pulling this up here. So okay, hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. For all you Razor Ramon WWE fans. You guys know what's up. So these hard times will not last, guys. You're just going through it right now. You know, I always share with you guys, because I'm a fucking open book up here, but I always share how, you know, losing my brother was the hardest time for me imaginable. It was a really rough 15 months. You know, it was really actually more than that. Like the timeline was like this, right? You know, I lost one of my main coaches at TTS, like my right hand at the gym. This was, let me take a step back. COVID hit. Okay, so the gym was shut down for months. After COVID, during COVID, my dad has both legs amputated above the knee. Then right after that, one of my best friends, who's one of my coaches, my main coach, leaves TTS, and he was a big part of it. So obviously that was a scary void to fill, especially in those days, because it was just really me, him, and one other person. So he leaves. Maybe a month later, my dad dies. Okay, 15 months later, my brother dies. A few months after that, I have to deal with a real jerk-off member who's just not a good human being. We'll save that story for another day. Had to deal with a lot of bullshit with that. Then had another coach leave, right before that, and just created it was like this, I guess almost like a 2-year period of just shit. Now there was some highs in the middle there, like there were some good times. It wasn't all bad, but those were pretty significant life events that happened in like a really short window. But then guess what? A few months after all of that craziness, we find out that Gab is pregnant with CJ. 9 months after that, CJ's born. Best moments of my life. A little while after that, not too long after that, we find out that Gab is pregnant with our second son. Not too long after that, we move into our dream location for us. You know, we move down closer to the Jersey Shore. We're right by the water. We have a house that we love. You know, everything is opened up. In the middle there, Joe DeFranco and I partner up and we launch the Iron Business Blueprint for gym owners. And that's the winning season, right? Like we're riding high. All these things are beautiful. All these things are great. But I know that they're not going to last forever. Things will change. There's going to be a moment where things dip a little bit. Guys, the point is that is fucking life, man. And with these great moments, there comes these shitty moments. And for all of you listening right now that are in this losing season, no matter what that losing season looks like for you, no matter how bad it is, no matter how painful, it gets. It could be a really nasty divorce that you're going through. It could be a financial situation that's really stressful. Maybe you lost a lot of money somewhere. Maybe your business partner just fucked you and just bailed and stole your clients. You know, there's so many things. Maybe there's a death in the family. Somebody's sick. All these things suck. We're not downplaying any of them, and I'm not saying you should pretend that they're not bothering you. What I'm telling you should do is face those things head on, learn from them, grow from them, get better because of them, and know that this moment in time of you feeling horrible will pass. You will get through it, man. I was the lowest I've ever been when my brother died. It was so painful that I didn't know how I was going to get through it. But guess what? I did. And I did it because I focused on the things in my life that truly matter, the people and the things. I made sure, now there was a mourning period for sure, but in that mourning period, I got to the gym and I trained. That was my fucking therapy. I wrote a letter. A lot of you guys read it. I wrote a letter to my brother. Cried my eyes out as I was writing it. That was a form of my therapy and coping with the loss. Spoke to my therapist multiple times. You know, it takes work to get through these things too. It doesn't just pass and you forget about it. Like, you got to work through these experiences. But I believe that, you know, whether it's the universe or it's God or it's some higher power, whatever it is, maybe this whole thing is a what's it called? We're living in I just trained, guys, and it's way later in the day than I normally record the podcast, and I didn't sleep very well last night with CJ waking up multiple times, so my brain is completely just taking a shit right now. So please excuse me, and I'm a little rusty. It's been a couple weeks since I've been up here on the mic, but that's what's going on. I can't think of the word that I'm thinking of. Simulation. That's it. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on today? So maybe we're living in a simulation. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. Whatever you believe, whatever the fuck is going on, nobody knows. I don't know. You don't know. That's the reality of it. But we could believe whatever we want. But whatever it is that you believe in, maybe these obstacles are put in your way for a reason. The reason being, you are getting the opportunity to learn and to grow. And you're either going to grow because of them or you're not. You're going to take a step forward or you're going to take another 10 steps back and you're going to stay right where you are. Now, you're listening to the show, which means you're a fucking killer. You are somebody who attacks the day, who attacks life, who is highly motivated, who wants to get better in every single aspect of life. So don't let these tough times break you down. Learn from them, grow from them, and keep moving forward. Keep going beyond it. So with all that being said, guys, that is the message that I want to share with you tonight. These hard times, they're not going to last. And if you're in a winning season, that's not going to last either. That's the good news. This thing just kind of goes through these cycles, whatever it is. And we could pretend that it doesn't. We could pretend that everything's fine and dandy, or we could pretend like everything sucks. But the reality is it's right there in the middle. Embrace these good moments. and be fucking present, right? I think all of us right now, if we're going through a tough time and we want to immediately be a little bit happier or be a lot happier, here's a few things that we can do. Number one, get off of your phone, get off of electronics, get back to the real world. Just try to do a digital detox. No screens, 24 hours or more. Try that. Try that. Then you'll see how addicted we are to our phones and to our devices, right? But try to go 24 hours if you're really going through something. Like, let people know where to find you. Let the important people know in your life, like how to contact you. But don't check texts or emails. Don't scroll through social media. Don't do any of that bullshit. Give yourself a digital detox. This way you can be present and you can get back to the real world. That's one thing that's instantaneously going to make you feel so much better. You're going to want to do this and pick up your phone. But man, as long as you don't do it, you're going to feel like $1 million. Trust me. I promise you. It works every time. Okay? That's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is help other people. Sounds corny, I know. Sounds cliche, I know. But it's fucking true. I promise you. If you go and spend time, whether you volunteer somewhere or maybe you just clean out your fucking clothes and you make a donation to Goodwill or something like that, volunteer at a soup kitchen, help a client out, help out a friend, help out a family member, help somebody move, do something. But when you contribute to something and you work with other people, that's part of how we were designed, right? We're tribal beings. So when you could help other people work to achieve a common goal or just help them, period, help make them feel better, help make somebody laugh, help make somebody smile, that's going to make you feel so much better, like you've contributed to society, like you contributed to the day. And that's automatically going to make you feel like a different person. All right. So get off screens, help other people, and then take some time alone. All right. That kind of goes with no screens. Take some time alone after you help others. Take some time alone. Do a little bit of soul searching. Maybe you read a meaningful self-help book. Maybe you do a little bit of journaling. Maybe you do nothing at all and you go down to the beach and you find a spot and you stare at the ocean and you just do nothing but think. Maybe you take a walk for a while. Like nobody can get, you don't have your phone, so nobody can get in contact with you. No podcasts, nothing like that. Just you and your thoughts. And have this space between all the noise of life and yourself. And give yourself that opportunity to think about the things that you want to achieve, the things that you want to create, and how you just want to live your life. What are some things that you wanted to do that you haven't done yet? Some trips you want to take? What are some things you want to achieve? What are some causes that you want to donate to, or people that you want to serve, or charities that you want to help out, businesses you want to create? Like, what is it? Like, what's the evolution of your life cycle? Like, where do you want to go next? Spend some time really thinking about that and just being alone with your thoughts. Think about ways that you could be a better father, ways that you could be a better boss, better entrepreneur, better leader, better husband, just better son, brother, whatever, sister. Think about ways that you can improve and ways that you want to improve so you could be proud of yourself the day that your number is called and you have to leave this earth, like we all do and will at some point, and stop living every day like you have an infinite amount of time, because you don't. The clock is ticking right now. You're going to be dead soon. So am I. And we like to pretend like, 20 years, 50 years, 60, 80 years. Like, we like to pretend like that's a long time. It's not a long time. If you're young and you're listening to this and you're in your 20s, you're like, what are you talking about, man? That sounds like forever. Yeah, as soon as you get to 30, 31, 35, like I'm 37 now. I feel like 23 was yesterday. I don't know where 14 years went. It's fucking insane. And from what I understand, that is only going to get faster and faster from when I talk to folks that are older than me. So let's not pretend like we have all this time and say, I'll do that later. I'll wait until tomorrow. I'm going to take that trip when I have enough money. I'll sign up for that program when I'm ready, when it's the right time, when work slows down. Those are all just bullshit excuses, man. You got one life to live. You could be fucking dead tomorrow. That's just the reality of it. Go live. Have fun. Don't be stupid. Don't waste all your money. Okay, I got $100,000 in my bank account. Let me spend every dollar and I'm going to go fucking buy, I don't know, what kind of car is $100,000? You tell me. I'm not a car guy. There you go. You buy a Tesla. Don't go waste your fucking money on stupid shit. But there's experiences, I'm sure, that you want to create in life. There's things that you want to do. Go do them, man. Life is too short. I've learned that by losing my brother. I've lost really good friends. You realize it when you lose people close to you, especially young people, how short, how precious this thing is that we have here. And, you know, and I'm guilty of this too. Like there's times where you hit these rough seasons and you're just thinking about the negative and, okay, when I get here, I'll do this. And when I get there, I'll do that. You know, I say that you gotta really open your eyes and realize that all this stuff, all this shit that's going on, what I've learned recently, guys, is that so much of it is bullshit. There's so much stuff that, you know, the traditional way of thinking and, you know, and if that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with it, right? But everybody's like, okay, I got to get married. I got to get the house. I got to get the safe job. Guys, the reality is there is no safe job. You've seen that with layoffs. You know, people think that they have safe jobs. I know people that they were corrections officers and they were there for years and they feel like their job was safe and secure and they worked their way up the ranks and they decided to close the jail out of nowhere. And now, you know, my friends had to take a drastic pay cut. They were out of a job. You know, some were out of a job. Some had to go work somewhere else that they didn't really want to be at. So now they were unhappy. They were making less money. Like, these fucking things happen. There's no safety nets here. Nobody's coming to save you. There is no safe jobs. There's no decisions that you have to make just because everybody else is making those decisions. Like, what does everybody say? Graduate high school, go to college, get the safe job, marry your high school sweetheart, buy a house, like do all and invest in, you know, retirement accounts. Don't be risky, all this shit. But in my circle and the people that I have gotten around and learned from and from my mentors and the way I live my life now, because I've learned from them and it was more aligned with me and my values. I'm a bit of a lunatic, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing if you guys are aligned with me, but if you're listening to the show, you might be. But, you know, for me, I didn't even go to college. I have a couple college credits because I took some classes. I got certifications and training and stuff like that, but I didn't go to college. And then when I got the quote unquote safe job as a firefighter, I hated it. I want to get the fuck out of there because I value my freedom more than anything else. So I hated that quote unquote safe job. I quit. Everybody told me I'm nuts. Like, I don't do anything traditionally. Yeah, that's just not me. But I'm aware of that. I know that stuff, the traditional stuff, does not make me happy. I would blow my fucking brains out if I had to go sit in an office every day. My friends that I have, and I respect them more than anything, and these guys are making a ton of money. If I had their job, I would start chugging a bottle of bleach in the morning. Like, I would never be able to handle that. Like, I could never go sit in an office. It's no disrespect or no shade on anybody who likes that or wants to live their life that way or does it. That's just not my thing. So my question for you is, what is the life that you want to create for yourself? And how do we bridge the gap from where you are right now and the way you're living your life right now to where you want it to be? And how are we going to fucking get there? That's what I do as a coach, guys. In my business coaching program, I like to look at where are you? Where do we want to go? And in what timeline do we want to get there? Right? And then from there, we just reverse engineer, like, what are the steps necessary to get there? That's what Joe DeFranco and I do in the Iron Business Blueprint. In my training businesses, we look at it the same thing. Like, where are you at? Where do we want to get? What are the big obstacles and things that you're really struggling with? Okay, let's build out a game plan that's going to get you there. And that's fucking it. That's it. That's how we solve these issues. But a lot of times you're going to need outside eyes to show you the things that you're struggling with, because maybe you're confused about it. Maybe you don't really know. Maybe you really don't know why you're stuck in your relationship and you can't figure it out. Well, maybe it's time to talk to a relationship coach or a therapist. You know, same thing in business or fitness. Like, you need those outside eyes to get guided to that level of where you want to be. Find the people that are, and you got to be careful, especially these days, because there's so much bullshit out there on social media. There's so many people that are faking it. There's so many people that are just full of shit. They rent the Lamborghini for the day and they Photoshop abs and they do all this stupid shit and all this fraudulent bullshit, which makes me sick. So it's out there. So you got to make sure it's really a credible person or company that you're working with. But once you find them, you have people that you respect, hire them, work with them, let them show you how to get there. You will get there 10 times faster, right? And a lot of times, guys, that investment that you make, it might seem scary at first, but I promise you, you will most likely, as long as it's the right person or company, you will make that investment back tenfold in what you gain from the knowledge and for expediting that process, achieving what you want to achieve so much faster. So that's all I got for you guys today. I really hope that this episode has made an impact or helped you in some way. If you enjoyed today's show, it would mean the world if you could just share it. Share it to your stories, tag me in it on Instagram. And that would be a great way to help us grow the show and get more listeners. I promise I will be back more consistent, working on some new things to get multiple episodes to drop every week. So I'll be working on that. So right now is just a crazy time, just getting settled with the little guy and all that stuff. But we're working our way through it. And I promise we're going to be more consistent and then, dropping more episodes more frequently as well. So I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you next week on another episode of the Iron Life Podcast. Peace.